Good. Good evening, everyone. M.M Out here, again, over there, everywhere, all over the place. Once again, I have Apostle Leroyce Canterbury, he who ran in the last two general elections in the constituency of St. Peter. Now, today it's a year since the BLP has been in power. So, I want to do a little review, but I want to go into a little preamble first. I'm going to do a little reading here. And as I said, it's been a year since the Barbados Labour Party swept the polls, removing the Friendly Stir administration.
Yes, sir.
Now, impressed with the BLP's campaign, voters entrusted Ms. M.M Out There with the responsibility of leading the country out of the economic doldrums. The question now is how the new government has delivered on its overwhelming mandate. The appointment of 26 cabinet ministers, while at the same time repeating the refrain that the treasury was broke, appears strange to me, to say the least. Now, this is also compounded by several recruitment of several salaried consultants who, as far as I'm concerned, has been no value at all to the economic recovery of the country. When in some cases it has been stated that Dr. Delay World was competent and able enough to do the same job that these high-paid people are being paid to do. Now, when they gave the 5% salary hike to the public servants, and they made an increase in the non-contributory pensions, well, of course, the pensioners were pleased, and the public workers were pleased. There's nothing wrong with that. And they removed the NSRL, which is very unpopular. And that joy was short-lived, because there was a mini budget. And we had then the garbage tax.
That's right.
Which led to a price in water bills. We had the health levy. We had the VAT on online purchases. If you want to make an online purchase now, you have to pay VAT on it. And a whole range of other things. And the promised drop in prices at the supermarket did not materialize. In fact, it got higher.
It got higher, that's true.
There's been a continual loss of jobs, both in the public and private sector. And then, in the March 2019 budget, the traveling public found out that they had to pay $1.50 plus the $2 for one trip on the bus.
That's right.
What do you have to say, Apostle, about what I just mentioned?
Well, again, we've said this in foregoing sessions here on M.M Out There, that the Barbados Labour Party made excessive promises to the public of Barbados that they really cannot deliver on. Okay? And I don't think that the public, first of all, were looking to things becoming harder. I think from what the Barbados Labour Party presented in their campaign, that they were the ones to make things better. Okay? And there was always this idea of, the BLP for a better Barbados.
But they had a fantastic campaign.
They had a fantastic campaign.
Promises, if you look at their manifesto.
Exactly. Again, looking at the manifesto, looking at a lot of the things that they said would have been done within a year, which we're now actually into that year of them being the government here in Barbados. But we're seeing that delivering on the major promises has been something that's very, very hard. Now, my point is with this, Mr. Morris, is that within a month of becoming the government, you're making a deal with within 7 days of becoming the government, you're making a deal with the IMF. That's very strange to me. I consider that to be
it's strange to me too, because I thought these things took months to
unfold,
unfold, and as I said, I'm an accountant. And I know that financial things takes a while. It doesn't take 10 minutes or a day or a week to do. But yet, you can consolidate a deal with the IMF in mere days.
Yeah.
Unless you were negotiating with them before you actually came to power.
Default on payments, so those are things that, for me, I pay a lot of attention to those things. There's a place, Mr. Morris, that we must understand. Barbados has suffered not just because of the Barbados Labour Party, but also because of the Democratic Labour Party.
Both parties have been
inept. Right. Both parties are responsible for our country being where it is. It's a continuation of improper borrowing and horrible spending.
So what you're saying in a nutshell, Apostle, that there's time for a fresh party, for some fresh faces?
It's definitely a need for a fresh government in Barbados, fresh faces, fresh innovative thinking, fresh ideas, fresh ideals, and a fresh attitude to the approach of taking Barbados into the future. And that's not what we're going to get with either of these two parties. I guarantee you, and I have my reasons why I'm saying this, because I know for a fact that there are systems in Barbados that needs both the Democratic Labour Party or the Barbados Labour Party to run this country, so that these systems can continue to do plunder Barbados and keep Barbadians poor. So
what you're actually saying in a nutshell, that you have a group of people, or a caste of people, who depend on both parties. It doesn't matter who's in power.
It doesn't matter who's in power. It doesn't matter who's in power. There's a certain section, and first of all, let me say I'm not racist, but I know this for a fact. There's a certain sector of the white community in Barbados, those certain level of the wealthy community, wealthy white community, and those who are compounded by association with the wealthy black community, that work hand in hand to make sure that it's either the Barbados Labour Party or the Democratic Labour Party that run this country, which is why they put money into both governments.
So they sit on both sides of the fence?
Both sides of the fence.
Okay, so a new party would be a threat to their existence.
Exactly. Immediately, a new party in Barbados presents a threat to that syndicate. Let me use that term.
Yeah.
Immediately, a new party in Barbados says to them right away, all right, investigations are going to go on. And one of the things you have to understand, Mr. Morris, if you want to end corruption in the country, you got to start arresting the little man. You got to arrest some of the big folk.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't see any big folks being arrested for anything.
Okay, well that's
little man.
That's one of the problems that we have here in Barbados.
Okay, now, as I said before, immediately they appointed 26 cabinet ministers. 26. They were very critical of the amount of the last administration.
Yeah, well, I still have a video of our present leader making a statement about the number of ministers under the leadership of the Democratic Labour Party, that the cabinet was too big. Okay, so I'm concerned as to how a cabinet of 16 ministers is too big versus a cabinet of 26 ministers.
You added on 10.
Yeah, 10 ministers.
So in some ministries you actually have two ministers
operating.
And it shall reiterate this again. 2 ministers in some ministries, and in a ministry like the Ministry of Transport and Works, you have 2 idiots as ministers.
Well, so
I say that over and over again. We don't apologize to anyone.
Well, again, as an individual, I also look at the concept of leadership, and from what I understand from many individuals, including Les Brown, individuals, Mark Victor Hansen, and individuals who are very, very strong in the leadership world. Delegation of leadership is very important. I've seen in many occasions where the minister in charge of that particular ministry is not leading the fight. And so there's always, whenever there's a meeting, there's always the Prime Minister who's doing it. I'm wondering, what are your ministers capable of doing? You know, the issue of leadership is that you handle your portfolio, you report to me. If there's something that you can't handle, then I step in. So I'm not seeing that in terms of what people call, okay, this is real leadership. Leadership is delegated authority. You can delegate individuals to carry out the work that needs to be done.
If you go back in history, there was a time that Patrick Manning, PNP, won overwhelmingly in Trinidad, and he took no ministry. He appointed his ministers who reported to him.
Well, again, we go back to the day when at certain levels in the Caribbean, we had what we call visionary leadership, where people they had a clear path to where the country is going.
You're talking about Eric Williams and Aaron Barrow and Norman Manley and Forrest Burnham.
That's right.
And that ilk. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that here in Barbados, our visionary leadership ended with Sir Lord Erskine Sanford. After him, to put my hand on real visionary leadership, I've been unable to do that.
Okay, now remember they said the treasury was broke. They have no money. Yet they appointed these consultants and 26 ministers. And recently, apart from joining the IMF, they've appointed this British firm White Oak. Again, something that can't be done within a week or 2 weeks. Yet they had to be negotiating with these guys before the election. And there must be some financial crime here, as far as I'm concerned, that needs to be checked out. As much as they hate the United States, they have a policy of law. This would have been checked out, and someone would go to jail for this, even if it's people from White Oak. And I'm very serious about that. Because the normal Barbadian guy is not checking this out, This did not happen overnight. They were negotiating with White Oak and with the IMF before the election date. And it cannot be legal for you, who is not in power, to be negotiating anything like this still. Because you're not standing, that's like trying to overthrow the present administration who was actually in power at that time. That's treason in a form.
Yeah,
what do you think?
Well, as being a person that loves history, Thomas Jefferson made a very powerful statement. One of the statements he made said, when governments fear the people, there's liberty. When the people fear the government, there's tyranny.
You heard that?
Thomas Jefferson said that.
When governments fear the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, it's tyranny.
That's right.
Thomas Jefferson said that.
Thomas Jefferson
the guy who was involved with the American Constitution, that sort of thing.
He said that.
He was also a president.
He said that.
I think he was the second one after George Washington.
And all of these are things that are very critical. We have to understand how these things actually work. And so in building a country, you want to make sure you must set your foundation strong. And you must have a vision. If there is no vision, it's very clear the people perish.
Okay, now they had to be given some praise for the 5% salary hike to the civil servants and the increase in non-contributory pensions.
Right.
Kudos for that. But what makes that null and void is that, and the removal of the NRSL. But what makes that null and void is that soon afterwards, there was the garbage tax, leading to a rise in water bills. There was a health levy, VAT on online purchases, as I said before, and a range of other things, which completely overshadowed and made, as I said, null and void the increase in non-contributory pensions and the 5% increase. You give in one hand,
and then take it back with the other.
Miss Motley is a boss at doing that. Is a boss. Anyhow, end of part 1. We're going to be back here very shortly for part 2.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.